Artists from Cucuta, Colombia. This is an impromptu Sunday live stream. I wasn't planning on doing a stream today because I have so much footage still to release from the nearby border, Colombian-Venezuelan border, but I'm joined by a new friend of mine, and I thought, why not do this? So I'd like to introduce Miguel Alvarez.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. I belong to Students for Liberty. It's a libertarian organization and I'm a local coordinator here in Cucuta.
So again, I'm connecting with a Colombian libertarian, but we met in Bogota, not in Cucuta.
Yeah, I was doing some things in Bogota and I just met two Joes thanks to a friend called Kyle Varner.
Kyle Varner, who was featured on the live stream of the protest outside the Cuban embassy.
One of my senseis.
For whoever's tuned in right now, can you tell me if the volume's okay? I know there's background music, and if it's too much of a problem, I need to address that. So that would be much appreciated. Yeah, so I met you right after that protest. Where were you during the protest?
Well, the protest in the embassy of Cuba.
Yeah.
Well, it was fine to see the very old lady, I don't know, like screaming against the libertarian movement. And it was fun because she said that she was like a normal citizen. But after that, we saw that she entered inside the embassy and, well, it was funny because it was just a lie with her.
Yeah, so for whoever hasn't seen the video, that live stream I did, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. The protests that some of your colleagues in Bogota conducted outside the Cuban embassy, there was a lady who confronted them and there was a screaming match, and we thought she was just someone who was angry at the protesters. I don't know who she was, but she ended up walking right into the Cuban embassy, which was interesting. Maybe as we're kicking off this broadcast, do you want to explain a little bit about what you do and your operations here in Cucuta, and then we'll talk a bit more about the border situation.
Well, what I do here is very simple. I'm just creating a group of libertarian people, and just for, I don't know, like just teaching the ideas of the liberty, because Oscar, I think that is the only way for living in peace. I don't know, we have like the main incidents of Venezuela. Many people here at the universities, I don't know, like love those kind of government, and it's really sad to see that in the university. So I like the opposition to those ideas here.
What exactly, because this interests me and there might be some parallels to the US, what exactly are these ideas that are popular in the universities here in Colombia?
Well, the public university here tends to teach these ideas of the left side, and I don't know, as you know guys, are very dangerous for the society, and I don't know, it's really hard work for doing here.
What do you mean by left? Because it might be different than left in America. Does left mean socialism? Does it mean democracy? Does it mean what there is in Venezuela? What does left mean?
When I say left, I mean to these socialist ideas, Marxist ideas, those kind of stuff.
All right, so for whoever's tuned in on this impromptu stream, feel free to ask questions and make comments. You can bring up anything with regard to the situation at the border or in Cucuta as a whole. If you haven't noticed, I just released one video from the border that I think I got some stuff wrong, unfortunately, in the live stream that I did on Christmas Day, particularly relating to the aid truck fire, that whole incident, and which bridge it was on, and what truck caught on fire. And I'm going to be putting out videos trying to correct that, as well as lots and lots of footage from the border here, which is just a crazy scene. And because of that, Rob's saying, are there still a lot of people coming to Colombia from Venezuela?
Yes, every day there are thousands of people coming to Colombia.
How many people?
I don't know, thousands, like 1,000, 2,000 per day. It's really hard.
I think it's more than that. So I'll be detailing this. I got lots and lots and lots of footage from the border that I'm going to release over the coming days, probably weeks. I spoke with some UNHCR workers, and they estimated that somewhere around 40,000 people are crossing that border every single day. Do you think that could be true? I mean, that's coming from UNHCR.
Well, that's true. Well, some interesting information is that 1 year ago, the population here in Cucuta, it was like 800,000 people. And just with this massive migration of Venezuelans, the population in Cucuta is around 1 million people, 1 million 100, something like that. So it increased a lot. It's something really, I don't know, insane.
I heard some similar figures. I heard that about 200,000 Venezuelans have come into, and I guess settled. We're not talking about the ones who cross during the day and then cross back at night, but I heard about 200,000 Venezuelans are now living in Cucuta. So is that, you're saying the same thing?
In this moment, yeah, 200,000 living in Cucuta and like 500,000 or 600,000 living around Colombia. Is something
I heard a lot more than that, but
yeah, well, I don't know.
I heard around 2 million, and that
really?
could even be a conservative estimate.
Well, maybe, yeah, it could be that figure. Maybe inside Colombia and around Latin America is really, I don't know, bigger that figure.
So, I think they're being forced out of Venezuela by design. Well, I don't know exactly what you mean by design, but do you have any comment on that?
Like it's an obligation to, I don't know, leave Venezuela, something like that?
Well, I guess I'll preview a bit of the footage that I have that's unreleased. I'm seeing people crossing that border, coming from Venezuela into Colombia and then coming back with basic necessities. I can't count how many people I saw crossing back into Venezuela with goods like toilet paper. And there are so many people I talked to. I have lots of interviews that I've yet to release, and it seems like a lot of people are crossing on a daily basis to get food and basic necessities, and then are going back into Venezuela. But at the same time, there are lots of people who are leaving. I saw people walking. Have you seen these guys who are literally walking from Venezuela to Bogota or even to Peru or Ecuador?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all the days that it's what the Colombian people see. People from Venezuela traveling around Latin America, just looking for new opportunities of life. Venezuela in this moment is crossing with a shortage very hard. Like they had to cross the bridge just for looking paper for the toilet and maybe eggs, maybe, I don't know, basic products of the basket. and it's very sad. It's very sad the situation in that country.
So, what is it like to live in this city that is right in the middle of this whole crisis? And like you said, people are coming here by day to get toilet paper. What's it like to live here?
It's hard to see that. I don't know. All this migration just have increased the rates of insecurity in the city. I don't know. It's very hard, this situation.
By insecurity, do you mean a lot of crime, robberies, stuff like that? What do you mean?
Yeah, crime, even, I don't know, increase of the cases of rapists.
Rape, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really hard situation. I don't know. Any question else?
He's saying the commenter is saying that there must be more crime in Colombia.
That's true.
Which I mean, I don't want to paint all these people coming from Venezuela as criminals. They're certainly not certainly not all criminals, but I've heard from various perspectives. Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿qué más? ¿Cómo están? I'm sorry for my English. It's not the best, but I'm just improving.
Your English is so much better than my Spanish. So much better. I was saying that a lot of people are saying that there's an increase in crime here, and I would say it makes sense because I see so much desperation. So many are, and you can't blame people for stealing necessities. Yeah, like my guide and fixer Joe, who's going to be featured in many of the videos coming up, he told me, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Joe told me that, look, there's a chance while I'm walking around the city that someone might point. Here, read this. And hold your thought on that for a second. So Joe was telling me that there's a chance as I'm walking around the city that someone might point a gun at me and demand my cell phone or my wallet, and that I better give it up in that case because the people here who are doing that are so desperate that they would actually kill me for my cell phone. Would something like that happen here?
Well, I was thinking the last question, and yeah, the impact of Venezuela is really hard. Some politicians here try to defend.
You're answering the question that came. Okay,
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, some politicians here try to defend what's happening in Venezuela. It says that, I don't know, all these situations there is just a product of the, I don't know, USA government, and it's just a fucking joke because what's happening there is just a product of the socialist. I don't know.
All right, so you're saying that some people, which is certainly the case, blame the situation in Venezuela on the U.S. government, and you think that's totally untrue.
Yeah.
So that question, which you guys see in the chat, and I just pulled up the chat, it was asking about the left in Colombia, whether the socialism or communism, whatever you want to call it, in Venezuela is changing or influencing the politics or the people on the left here in Colombia. What do you think?
Well, it has an impact. I don't know. For example, in my university, as I told you, there are many people defending the Venezuelan government. It's just saying that it's like a trick of the USA government, like the socialism in Venezuela is good, but it's just bad in this moment because these incidents of USA, which is a lie, because everything is just product of the left policies. I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, so for instance, to try to be a little more specific, I know some people blame the situation in Venezuela on U.S. sanctions. You know what sanctions are, right?
Yeah.
So is that some of what people in your university are saying? Like sanctions when the U.S. government
The
puts...
indoctrination is deep in the left. Yeah, it's very deep. It's very deep, and sadly, most of the people here are socialists in this moment or progressists, like have a good view on all these ideas.
Hello and Dango, thank you for joining us. And Jesus Max, I think in response to what you're saying or asking is, I'm not saying that the situation in Venezuela is caused by American sanctions. Oh no, you're saying the left. So the left is... He wants to know a little more about what is the left saying causes the situation in Venezuela.
Yeah, they just blame to the U.S. government for the sanctions.
So
Yeah.
they do think the sanctions...
Yeah, that's practically the speech of the left people here.
That sanctions cause poverty in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Do they
No.
say? Do they give other reasons?
That's especially the main speech of them.
That's the biggest reason they
Yeah. Which is stupid because they are like that because all those ideas from, I don't know, Marx.
give. Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus says, what else could they say after all? Which I think you agree with. It looks like everyone who's tuned in right now is not too fond of socialism at all. But
Well, there are so many blind people here who don't know these ideas about the free market, about capitalism. So, and they just say or repeat what the less politicians say. So it's like a lack of information what's happening here.
what is the percentage of people in Colombia who agree with the left on this issue?
Oh, that's
Or in general, like about what is the percentage of people in Colombia who have these leftist, socialist
well, that's-
ideas?
That's a really good question. For example, in the last president's elections, half of the people voted to a candidate from the left. It was practically the half of the population here in Colombia. So 50% of the people.
And the other 50%, do they share your ideas? Are they pro free market, or is it a different kind of conservatism, or what is it?
The other half is like don't have any idea about the free market ideas, but they are just against the Nicolas Maduro regime. That's just.
Okay, here's a good question for you. Did you see it?
Yeah.
He's asking about FARC. You can read it right here. Peace negotiations with the FARC rebels. What is your take? I know you have things to say about this.
Well, a very big part of the population here defends the peace process because they really think that it's the end of the war here, which is a lie because the war had never ended. It continues, but with another illegal groups, and that peace process, the only thing that gave us was like get more opportunities to this FARC group FARC is a guerrilla in Colombia, which is now in the Colombian Congress, and that's a really fight against them. I don't know.
For the people in the U.S. or other countries who might not know anything about FARC, can you briefly explain? Okay, we're gonna have to cut off this stream very shortly, but can you briefly explain what FARC is?
FARC is a guerrilla group with left ideas, and they practically were in war with Colombia around 50 years. They tried to get the power of the government, but they failed. The last president that we had here made some negotiations with them, and they are now in the Congress, and that's very, I don't know, dangerous for us, because we think that, I don't know, there are so many profits for them, and they don't deserve those kind of profits.
Last questions, unfortunately, just because this place we're in is closing, and because I need to travel in a few hours, I need to cut off the stream. So, final comments or questions. Rob is saying you speak excellent English.
Thank you. I don't know. I'm just improving. Thank you.
And it's impressive to see multilingual people like you. And Jesus Max is also saying you're a very interesting guest, and it's an interesting destination. I agree. It's a very and thank you for the comment about quality content. This is one of the most interesting places in the world. What can I say? I've got tons and tons of footage, and I'm gonna be releasing it. Last comments from you?
I don't know. I think that even with all this situation, Cucuta, it continues being a beautiful place, a beautiful city for living. People continues being kind with the foreigners, and with the foreigner people, and I don't know, all of you that are welcome to my country, to my city, and I don't know, thank you so much for everything.
Okay, then I got a question for you. With so many destinations in Colombia, Medellin, Bogota, Cartagena, everywhere else, why should people come to Cucuta, this city on the Venezuelan border?
Well, people should come maybe to Cucuta, maybe for knowing all this situation.
And is Greta Thunberg welcome here?
No, it's not welcome, but motherfucker.
Why? What would happen to her?
I don't know, I just hate her. And well, people should come here just for knowing the situation, the impact of the regime Maduro, just to see what happened when these socialist ideas are implemented in a country, and for the rest of my country, just for seeing landscapes, just for seeing, I don't know, beautiful places, beautiful lakes. I don't know, we had so many seas, so many, I don't know, tourist places. I don't know, Colombia is a really good destination for maybe knowing and have a peace.
It's just my first time here, but I think I would second that. This country's got a lot to offer, and not very expensive either, and good food. Well,
I don't know, just tell me, will you back here?
I'll definitely be back in Colombia. I'd like to come back to which girls are prettier? Okay, that's the final question. Colombian or Brazilian? Or maybe we should throw in Venezuelan. I saw some very attractive women crossing that border. Sad situation, but very good looking girls.
Well, it's a really hard situation. I would say that Brazilian girls are better in dancing.
Oh, and explain your connection to Brazil.
And the next month I'm going to be in Brazil working, and maybe after that, maybe treat, I can tell you or answering that question that you did.
But you're gonna do what? You're gonna go study in Brazil?
I'm going to study and I'm going to work. I had to do my professional practices there.
Which your professional practice will be what?
And my professional practices are related with my career, which is industrial engineering.
Industrial engineering.
Yeah.
Serious work.
And
Takes more brain power than this.
in conclusion, all the Latin American girls are beautiful, are amazing, and I don't know, just come in here and comprove it.
Okay, I will put the link to the libertarian page or whatever you want. I'll put your link in the description below after this video finishes processing. Thank you for the comments.
Thank you, guys.
I'm glad we could do this impromptu stream. Look forward to all of the content from the Venezuelan border that I'll be releasing. And thanks a lot. And muchas gracias, Miguel.
Muchas gracias, Josh, for coming here.
All right. From Cucuta, adios, amigos.
Bye bye.